Now on Indianapolis This Week. Going to the movies on Oscar Sunday at RTV6. We introduce you to some high school students looking to follow the path to Hollywood. Plus, an inside look at the new exhibit in Central Indiana that lets you go behind the scenes of some of the biggest TV shows and films. And we go one-on-one with acting great Jane Seymour and her Oscar-nominated project.
It's probably one of the proudest things I've ever been involved with.
From RTV6, the Indie Channel, this is Indianapolis This Week with Rafael Sanchez.
Welcome to our special Oscars edition of Indianapolis This Week. I'm Rafael Sanchez. We're skipping our normal focus of politics to take you to the movies on this Oscars night here at RTV6. Joining me, of course, Brad Brown, who's our RTV6 movie critic. I, of course, call him the movie master.
Rafael, thanks for having me. Here at the Children's Museum, they have a brand new Inside Hollywood film and TV exhibit. A fantastic display of some old Hollywood memorabilia, interactive displays where the kids can kind of get their hands on how to make a movie, and it's just getting started here in a beautiful display this
Props, costumes. We are in the renowned Children's Museum of Indianapolis, where they have everything you want to see about the movies.
Yeah, and it's a really great opportunity for kids to kind of see how it all gets done. Now, down in Johnson County, they've got some kids and some young filmmakers who are getting their chance to show their skills for the first time, and the new Johnson County Film Festival will give them a chance to showcase their talents coming up in a couple weeks.
We've got documentaries that are very emotional. We've got some documentaries that are very informational. We've got some documentaries that have a lot of personal connection for the filmmakers involved. We've got some documentaries where the filmmakers involved are learning as they're going about a topic they didn't know a lot about.
Whiteland Community High School seniors Landry Long and Zach Whitaker are among the students submitting films for this year's festival.
And it's just so great to work with people that have different talents. You can make such a great film instead of being so heavy on one thing. If you work as a team, much better film because you've got all the different talents within it.
It really is just a cool opportunity to be able to tell a story that a lot of people might know, or some even do know, just don't know that much about. It's just so awesome to be able to tell a good story, and I think everyone's getting the chance to do that.
In just a short time, the Johnson County Film Festival has seen some high-quality work come across its big screen.
To some degree, as weird as it sounds, it's kind of expected because out of a crop of films that are considered to be the best one's going to look impressive. What's always blown me away and will continue to blow me away is the scope of these students' ambitions.
My documentary this year is the NCAA Hall of Champions, so it's something pretty cool to me that I wanted to show other people and really teach a story about what it means at the Hall of Champions.
Mine is about Kent Poole, who played Merle in the movie Hoosiers. My dad roomed with him in the movie, and he actually ended up committing suicide a few years after the filming of the movie, several years after. So it's a tribute to his life.
Once again, the historic Artcraft Theater in Franklin will host the final screenings. It's a great opportunity at one of Central Indiana's silver screen gems.
The look on my students' faces, the reactions that they had when their stuff was on the literal big screen in front of a paying audience was just, it was a once-in-a-lifetime special moment for them, and it was just great to experience that.
It's always nice when you've been doing it for so long to have somebody look at your work and, say what they think about it. But I think really at the end of the day, if you can look yourself, in the mirror and know that you told the best story that you could and that you got all out of the experience that you wanted to, that's really what matters.
The finals of the Johnson County Film Festival will be Friday night, March 6th, down at the Artcraft Theater in Franklin. For more information and for tickets, we have a link to their website on our website. Pay us a visit at theindychannel.com.
Thank you, Brad. We're now in the Spider-Man exhibit where you can see some of the costumes from the heroines and the villains from that movie. There's a web of filmmakers in Indiana that come back every year for the Heartland Film Festival, and tonight there are 5 movies that were seen in Indiana that are nominated for Oscars. We sat down with the Heartland Film Festival.
Yeah, it's really exciting for us. Independent films come through the festival every year. To have so many that are going to be competing for Oscar Gold is really, quite exciting for us.
And 5 is a record, right? That's the largest amount you've had in all these years.
Yeah, it is. 4 of them being short films that we selected out of over 1,000 short film submissions from all over the world. It really validates our selection process to choose the best of the best films, and it's nice when the Academy kind of corroborates your choices as a programmer.
Let's just say a few of the films that are nominated. The Dam Keeper is nominated in animated short subject category. Glenn Campbell, I'll Be, nominated in the music category. Then you have 2, White Earth and Our Curse, nominated for short.
Best documentary short. So those two, are in the doc short category. And then the last one, The Phone Call, is in live action narrative short. So only a couple are competing against each other. So hopefully we'll see some winners that were maybe filmmakers here at the festival last year.
This festival truly has grown over the years. You are currently now accepting new films for 2015. How exciting is that to see not only the anticipation, but also the engagement from all these filmmakers who want to be here in Indianapolis to show their film?
It's really exciting. We opened up February 2nd, call for entries. We have them pouring in right now. We'll continue to accept submissions through the end of May. And it's really gratifying to hear from so many past filmmakers who say, hey, I have another project. I want to send it back to you guys. And they all know that there's no buddy system with us. It has to go through the same rigid process of selection that all the other films do. But that makes our selection process that much more valuable to them. They know that they've made a really good film if they get invited to screen again at the Heartland Film Festival.
And those films that have been nominated for Oscars tonight, do they want to be selected by this Heartland Film Festival? Do they want to be recognized in Indianapolis so that they can move forward?
Yeah, it makes a pretty big difference for them. So as an Academy Award qualifying festival in the live action narrative short category, films are vying for our top spot because it can help them leapfrog a lot of the other hurdles that are involved with being nominated for the Academy. So it does mean a lot winning our Audience Choice Awards, winning our festival awards, being named Grand Prize winner. All of those are things that help a film as it proceeds on the festival circuit, hoping maybe for Oscar Gold and then maybe launching careers of these bright young filmmakers.
Sure. Great festival. When is the festival this year, and how do I get connected with you if I have a film that I want to submit?
Sure. If you have a film you'd like to submit, just go to heartlandfilm.org. There'll be all of the information about the submission process on there. The festival this year is October 16th through the 25th. We're going to change up a little bit of the format with it this year. Really exciting changes that we'll announce here pretty soon. But if you have a film, we'd love to see it. Heartlandfilm.org is the best place to get started.
Don't miss out. It is a great event. I have to ask you for Best Picture tonight. What will you pick? Best Picture. And the winner is?
I think it's going to go to Boyhood.
Boyhood.
I hope so.
All right. You heard it here. Tim Irwin, Artistic Director for the Heartland Film Festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And enjoy the Oscars.
All right, will do.
For more information on the upcoming Heartland Film Festival, we have more information on our website, theindychannel.com. Plus, it's known around the world for its exhibits. Now the Children's Museum is bringing the big screen to life inside its walls. We'll show you how.
It's time to test your Oscar knowledge. What movie set in Indiana won an Oscar in 1979, and in what category? We'll have that answer for you after this break when Indianapolis This Week continues. Now here's the answer to our first Oscar trivia question. The movie was Breaking Away, set in Bloomington and based on the Little 500 bike race. The movie won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for IU alum Steve Tessing. It was also nominated in 4 other categories. Let's talk about another movie nominated for Oscars. This is the 1991 live-action version of Hook that starred Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, and Dustin Hoffman. They have Captain Hook's hook and the actual pirate costume worn by Dustin Hoffman on display here at the Children's Museum. The movie was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Costuming. And these displays are on donation from Sony Pictures here as part of the Inside Hollywood exhibit.
Joining me now, Dr. Jeffrey Patchen, the CEO of the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. What an amazing exhibit you have here. We just left the jacket worn by Henry Winkler. Hey, the Fonz from Happy Days. But this exhibit is all about film and television. We're so used to seeing dinosaurs in the museum, but now it's all of this, the movies.
And TV, and the whole idea that it takes a team to create all of this, from camera folks to personalities, and kids can be part of a talk show set. They can learn something about animation. They can, of course, with their parents and grandparents, see some great objects. You know, the original dress from Annie in 1984, and then the more update in 2014. They can see great pieces of equipment from Men in Black, and of course the costume from Hook,
the actual Hook that was
worn by Dustin Hoffman in 1991.
How key was it to get these key pieces for the exhibit? Because you do have some amazing pieces of memorabilia that young people and even us old people can see when we walk to the museum.
We really wanted something that was intergenerational, and so we worked with Sony and the Azarian collection to get these great objects. And here you've got the mechanical legs from Godzilla and the proton pack and utility belt worn by Bill Murray, and of course the great pieces of equipment from Men in Black. And of course,
We are, of course, your Men in Black
today,
giving you an amazing tour. But you could also, very interactive, because you could also do some voice acting.
You can do some voiceovers with cartoons, you can do some animation, and of course you can be part of some green screen technology and actually be part of the Spider-Man movie.
How did you pick this theme as one? Because you are very careful. We just left the Terracotta Warriors, an amazing exhibit at this museum. So why Hollywood this time?
Well, it's more about pop culture, and of course Hollywood is the mecca of popular culture, both film and TV. And sometimes I think kids don't realize that it does take a team to put it all together.
What do you want families, when they come to this global space, to learn then about pop culture? What is the one thing you want them to walk away with?
Pop culture emits memories of our childhood, right? And
Yeah, it sure
our parents' childhood. And it's a way to bring this all together where there is as much for grandparents and parents as there is for children and grandchildren.
It's just a great place to come and experience and relive your youth.
Well, we think so too. So thank you very much.
Well, listen, we're the Men in Black. We thank you for the amazing
We are.
tour. Dr. Jeffrey Patchen, CEO of the Children's Museum, thank you so much.
Thanks, Raphael.
Enjoy the Oscars tonight.
Thank you.
All
Enjoy.
right. Thank you.
She's well known for her work on camera for both film and television. Now Jane Seymour is talking about her off-camera work for a documentary nominated at tonight's Oscars. We'll have that next.
It's time for another Oscars trivia question. What movie, also set in Indiana, won a pair of Oscars in 1978? We'll have that answer for you when Indianapolis This Week continues. Welcome back to Indianapolis This Week, our special Oscar Sunday edition. Do you know the answer to our trivia question? Well, Close Encounters of the Third Kind was set in the Hoosier State, directed by Steven Spielberg. It won 2 Oscars in 1978 for Best Cinematography and Sound Editing. It was nominated in 7 other categories.
The exhibit includes many of the costumes you've seen throughout the years in film and television, from Annie and Bewitched, as well as your favorite TV shows like The Nanny and The King of Queens. We spoke to a star of both film and TV, Jane Seymour. She's the executive producer of the documentary on Glen Campbell and his struggles with Alzheimer's. Here's my one-on-one with Jane Seymour. Here we have an icon in country music, 8 Grammys, more than 50 million records sold, going through Alzheimer's. How are you able to strike that balance of preserving dignity of life, but at the same time showing the reality of what Alzheimer's can cause, not only to the individual, but also to the family? How are you able to strike that balance?
Well, James Keach, who directed it, my ex-husband, he and all of us, you know, we were asked to do this project because we'd done the movie Walk the Line about Johnny Cash, who was a good friend of ours. So the Julian Raymond, who is the one that's actually co-wrote that famous song, he and Glen's family came to meet us, and they trusted us. They just trusted that we would, if they showed us everything and gave us, you know, full ability to film and document everything, that we would have the taste to do it in such a way that it would be a dignified experience. But I think,
by the way, you did that.
Thank you.
It was dignified, and you showed the taste.
Yes, but at the same time, you know, it was important that you could see him losing it. It was important to see how dangerous he could be. It was important to see how lost he was. It was important to see how hard it was for her, how he'd walk out, you know, and out of the hotel rooms and start knocking on everyone's doors, how he didn't even know where the bathroom was in his own room. I mean, really important things. It was important to show both sides, but at the same time, we had no idea that we thought he might do 5 weeks of shows. We didn't know it was going to be a year and a half of sold-out venues all over the place.
I'm not gonna miss you.
During the Oscars, the song from your documentary is also a Oscar-nominated song.
Yes.
I'm sure you'll be watching the show, and hopefully you'll want to take home that trophy.
Well, the trophy goes to the writers, which would be Glen Campbell and, of course, Julian Raymond, who really wrote the piece, and the, you know, the words and the inspiration for the song really came from Glen's words when we were working on the documentary. It's an absolutely moving, extraordinary song. I'll be watching it at Elton John's Oscar party, and interestingly enough, Elton apparently said that he felt it should win. And he also said that he felt it was, if it didn't, anyway, it was, in his opinion, one of the best songs ever written. So to have Elton John, who is...
If Elton says it, Jay Ryan, if Elton says
my
it.
favorite to say that. And he, under that endorsement, he said, you can tell anyone you like. So I'm going to be in the right place for the Oscars. I'm going to be right there at Elton's party. I'll be able to give him a big old hug and thank him anyway for bringing awareness to the project.
And who is she?
That's your second wife.
Alzheimer's patients rely on caregivers hugely, and we have to take care of the caregivers. That is the single most important thing that we can do. And I think, you know, have faith, because now with the attention that this film is getting, and also the film Still Alice, people are beginning to actually do something about doing more research and trying to find out what they can do to prevent it, what they can do to diagnose it. And I think one of the the biggest issues is they can now diagnose it quite early. But do you want anyone to know that you have it? Do you want to know yourself? So it's a big dilemma. It's one of those diseases that if you know early, there is something you can do.
But do you want to know?
But do you want to know? So, it's really, really a huge issue. And I would say, if you know someone who has Alzheimer's, take care of their caregiver. Be there for the caregiver. Be there for their family. And obviously be there for the one who's suffering. But in my family's experience, I've seen that it's the caregivers that sometimes suffer the worst.
Jane Seymour, thank you so much for an amazing documentary. You and the team, right, the team concept.
Yes.
Doing it with taste, with love, and just for talking to us about the project. And hopefully the songwriters will take home that Oscar.
Well, I mean, we got the Grammy for not even best song for a movie. We got it for, best country song. I mean, how amazing is that?
I'm getting a wrap.
Okay.
Best of luck
Thank
with
you.
everything. And say hi to Elton John for us.
I
Would you?
will.
I
will.
Our thanks to Jane Seymour for her time. More than 120,000 Hoosiers right now are living with Alzheimer's. If you need some help with your family or a friend who is suffering with the disease, we have more information on our website, theindychannel.com, on how you can contact the Greater Indianapolis Alzheimer's Association.
So who's going to take home the big trophies on Oscar night? We'll have our picks next on Indianapolis This Week.
I'm Mark Mullins from Good Morning Indiana. A big part of Oscar Sunday is watching Hollywood's mega stars walk that red carpet. There you see it, set up and ready to go outside the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, the site of tonight's Academy Awards and home of the show since 2001. You can watch the stars arrive and track the fashion hits and flops all day right here on RTV6, plus through our RTV6 app and social media sites. We're also getting ready for the Oscars hosting debut for Neil Patrick Harris.
Legendary.
It's just a classy night, and yet everyone watches it hoping that things go wrong. So while I'm hoping nothing goes wrong, I'm hoping that we'll provide a few things that you weren't expecting throughout the show. And maybe some things will intentionally go wrong. I'm not a pyromaniac for nothing.
And of course, join us Monday for the most complete Oscar wrap-up. It starts on Good Morning Indiana at 4:30 and continues into Good Morning America, all right here on RTV6.
Welcome back to Indianapolis This Week. It is now time for us to pick who we think will win the big awards tonight.
Oscar Sunday has finally arrived. Time to hand out those trophies. Some great performances all year, and we'll start with the Best Actor category very first.
And the winner is?
Well, I think there's been some great performances. On the IndyChannel.com, I listed a whole batch of actors that didn't even get nominated that would have been worthy of the award. I got to go with Michael Keaton from Birdman, the guy that played Batman. He played Beetlejuice, gave the performance of his career in a great movie, and I think he's going to take home the Oscar.
I will agree with you on Michael Keaton just because I love Batman.
Beetlejuice for me.
All right, fair enough.
The Best Actress category, it was interesting to see your conversation with Jane Seymour talking about Alzheimer's awareness earlier. Julianne Moore in the movie Still Alice, the entire movie based on a character who is diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. She gives the performance of a lifetime in this. A great film that's just now kind of opening in Indianapolis. Hopefully people get a chance to see that, and I really think she's going to get the Oscar for that.
I will ride your coattails on that. Julianne Moore for me as well.
The Best Director category, a lot of great directors. Inarritu that put together Birdman, fantastic. A lot of great directors that didn't get nominated as well because there's only those 5 nominations that get a chance to go here on Oscar Sunday. You really have to admire what Richard Linklater did, though, with the movie Boyhood. They've filmed a little bit of that movie every summer over the course of 12 years with the same cast, keeping a storyline intact and putting together a movie that really touches a lot of people on a very personal level. And I think even though some great directors put together some great movies this year, the epic scale of that movie for 12 years is going to earn him the Oscar.
Inarritu, just because I love to say his name.
It's a great movie
It's a great movie as well.
When you get to the Best Picture conversation, then those 8 movies that are nominated, you could pick a lot of those. Everybody's got their favorite. I got to go with Birdman, though. The way that that movie is put together, I really think just kind of the scope of all of that and how it looks is going to get the edge at the end over. Boyhood is a great movie. I really thought Whiplash was a lot of fun, and I think Birdman, though, is going to get the edge at the end.
I'm going to go with the dark horse, Imitation Game, just because I love the way that movie was able to tell us how they were able to break the Nazi code.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
A lot of great stories told all year.
So we'll see what happens tonight. Of course, the Oscars on RTV6 tonight. We hope that you'll join us for our complete coverage as we host the Oscars from the red carpet to the big show beginning at 8:30 right here on RTV6.
And it continues after the Oscars with the news on RTV6, and then you can either stay up late or set your DVR for Jimmy Kimmel Live and continue it all the way through to Good Morning America on Monday.
Have a great Sunday. We'll see you next week for Indianapolis This Week.